Hello, welcome to my channel. Today's story is about Lulu, the green-eyed girl with mysterious long streaming hair. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay updated on my latest content. Right, let's get started. In the village of Adu, nestled between the whispering forest and sparkling rivers, lived a green-eyed girl named Lulu, renowned throughout the region for her mysterious streaming hair. Her locks were rumored to contain the secrets of the earth and the sky, for they flowed like the rivers and sparkled with the hues of the dawn. The villagers often speculated about the mystic powers her hair might possess, for they had never seen anything like it before. Lulu's birth coincided with a rare celestial event, a night marked by a unique pattern of stars and the fearsome appearance of a dragon amidst the raging storm. The village elders were particularly intrigued by the mysterious circumstances surrounding her birth, pondering on the significance of her unusual eyes and luminous hair. It was recounted that a dragon will attack the village when the stars arrange themselves in an unusual pattern. This dragon, emitting fire, will wreak havoc, destroying homes and claiming lives. These terrifying incidents were always accompanied by torrential rain and fierce storms at night. The most recent of these calamities had occurred 18 years ago, catching the villagers off guard with no forewarning. That fateful night, the dragon descended upon the village, and in the ensuing chaos, Lulu's father was tragically killed. The shock and grief from the attack induced the premature birth of Lulu. The brave midwife assisting the delivery was astonished as Lulu emerged, her hair streaming white and her eyes a vibrant green. Nana, Lulu's mother, employed the midwife to keep the birth a secret, fearing the village elders would consider her a child cursed and ostracize them. The midwife agreed, vowing to protect the secret. The day after the attack, the village was filled with cries and wails as the village mourned the loss of loved ones and their properties. Their grief lasted for days. But eventually, they began the painful process of rebuilding their village. When the villagers came to offer condolences to Nana for the loss of her husband, they were surprised to learn of the birth. Nana, however, misled them by saying the child had died. However, the unmistakable sound of a baby's cry from Nana's house soon began to circulate among the villagers. Eventually, the elders summoned Nana and the midwife for an explanation. Confronted by the elders, the midwife could no longer keep Nana's secret. Under the weight of the solemn gathering, they disclosed everything about Lulu's extraordinary birth. When the village elders learned of the secret birth and requested that the baby be brought forward for examination, their reaction to seeing Lulu was one of sheer astonishment. Never before had they encountered a child like her. The uniqueness of her appearance led them to conclude that either Nana or her late husband must have somehow offended the gods, resulting in them being cursed with this unusual child. From that moment, Nana and her baby were ostracized within the village. As Lulu grew, so did her hair, each strand weaving deeper mysteries. As a young girl wandering through the village, Lulu attracted the curious stares of the villagers. Unbothered, she simply smiled and continued on her way. At night, when the moon was high and luminous in the sky, her hair would glow softly, lighting all the pathways in the dark. Having been ostracized for years, Lulu and her mother, Nana, endured significant hardship at the hand of their fellow villagers. Their status as outcasts often meant going days without food, as the villagers refused to sell any provisions to them. As Lily grew older, she decided to take matters into her own hands by starting her own farm. Against all odds, Lulu's farm flourished, far surpassing the yield of her neighbors' fields. The villagers, already weary of her mysterious origin, found this new development baffling. They couldn't understand how a young girl could succeed so impressively in farming. What the villagers didn't know was that Lulu's farm was under the care of unusual guardians. At night, strange creatures would invade the farm, quietly tendering and nurturing the crops. These nocturnal helpers, unseen and unknown to everyone else, ensured that the farm's yield was bountiful enough to sustain Nana and Lulu throughout the year. This secret assistance from the creatures of the night deepened the enigma surrounding Lulu, surrounding her further into the folklore of the village as someone touched by the supernatural, not just through her hair, but now through her unexpected success in farming as well. Lulu possessed a remarkable connection with animals, frequently making her way into the nearby forest where she was often spotted engaging in quiet conversations with various animals. At first, her mother Nana was deeply concerned for her safety. However, it soon became evident that the animals bore no ill will towards Lulu. She led a solitary life, primarily focusing on tending to her mother's farm. Her days were spent in gentle communication with animals, whispering to them as she walked the land. This solitude became her place of refuge, a peaceful escape from the misunderstandings and suspicions of the village. Her hair, the subject of fear and speculation, served as a beautiful, enigmatic covering that fell around her shoulders, streaming like the twilight itself. This mysterious horror only added to her mystic as she lived harmoniously between the world of humans and the natural realm of the forest. A deep bond with nature and its creatures granted Lulu a sense of fulfillment and peace that she found nowhere else. The villagers who once shunned her for her differences could not help but notice how the animals seemed to respect and even protect her. It wasn't uncommon for those venturing near the forest to observe birds gently circling above her, or deer standing calmly by her side as she walked the soil or gathered herbs. As time passed, rumors began to circulate about Lulu's unique relationship with the forest. Stories were told of how plants would seem to reach towards her as she walked by, and how she could heal sick animals with a simple touch or a few whispered words. Though these tales added layers to her mystic, they also sparkled a newfound respect among some villagers. The more curious and open-hearted began to wonder if perhaps Lulu's presence was a blessing rather than a curse to their community. One day, a lion charged into the village and leaped towards a villager. In a breathtaking moment, Lulu appeared and shielded the villager. As the villagers scrambled to safety, the onlookers were captivated by the sight of Lulu and the lion locking gazes. After a few seconds, Lulu began to walk away, and the lion, as if tamed, followed by her side. The villagers witnessed the scene in an awe as Lulu led the lion away from their homes and deep into the forest. On another occasion, deep within the woods, a hunter mistook Lulu for a wild animal and shot arrows at her. Remarkably, her hair caught the arrows. Unharmed, Lulu removed them from her hair, handed them back to the hunter with a gentle smile, and continued on her way cheerfully. The astonished hunter returned to the village and recounted the surreal encounter. This incident only deepened the mystery surrounding Lulu, leaving the villagers increasingly fascinated and perplexed about the powers residing within her hair. One day, as Lulu walked through the village, she encountered a young man named Badu. Unlike others who would usually step back in fear or suspicion, Badu greeted her with a warm smile, to which she responded in kind. As she continued on her way, Badu fell into step beside her. "So, you are the mystery girl, Lulu?" he asked. "Lulu, yes, but I don't know about the mystery girl," she replied with a light chuckle. "Lulu is a beautiful name. My name is Badu," he introduced himself. "Are you sure you should be talking to me right now? Your parents won't approve," Lulu cautioned him. "Unfortunately, I'm an orphan. Both my parents were killed by the dragon," he confessed. Lulu stopped and looked at him with deep sympathy. "I'm sorry. My father too was killed by the dragon," she replied. From that moment, a bond formed between them, and Badu became a frequent visitor at Lulu's home, forging a friendship built on a similar history. One day, Badu approached Lulu with a request. A little girl, bravely ill and on the brink of death, needed her help. This child belonged to the family that had taken Badu in and cared for him after he had become an orphan. They had shown him kindness and support, and now he hoped Lulu could do the same for them. Initially hesitant, Lulu was moved by Badu's plea and the critical condition of the girl. After much persuasion, she agreed to visit the child. Accompanied by Badu, she visited the family's home, where the atmosphere was thick with despair and fear for the little girl's life. Upon arriving, Lulu approached the bedside with a calm presence that seems to quiet the room. She leaned over the sick girl, her hair gently brushing against the child's blanket as she whispered words that were inaudible to the others present. It was a soft rhythm that seems to flow from her very being, filled with warmth and healing. Moments after Lulu whispered filled the room, a noticeable change occurred. Her labored breathing eased into a more natural rhythm. Before long, the child opened her eyes, her vitality restored, much to the astonishment and relief of her family. The gratitude of the family knew no bounds. The news traveled around the village and the elders were confused as to how to handle this new development. These acts of kindness not only solidified Lulu's reputation as a benevolent figure, but also strengthened the bond between her and the villagers, particularly those who had once doubted her. These events marked the significant turning point for Lulu and her mother, as some villagers began to accept their existence but yet others stayed aloof as they couldn't understand the sources of her powers. For many years, the village of Ad enjoyed a period of peace, but this tranquility was merely the calm before the storm. On the eve of Lulu's 18th birthday, a tempest unlike any before swept over the village. As the stars began aligning in an unusual pattern, dark clouds blotted out the sky, and from these ominous clouds emerged a fearsome dragon, its scales as black as the void itself. The village was thrown into despair as people ran in panic, seeking refuge wherever they could find it. The sudden appearance of the dragon, combined with the terrifying storm, resurrected old fears and threatened to undo the fragile peace that held the village together for so long. Suddenly, Lulu appeared, stepping boldly into the heart of the storm, her hair billowing like a banner of defense and glowing brightly against the dark sky. As she did this, all the villagers halted their frantic movements and gathered to watch. Suspended in the air, she confronted the dragon. Its fiery breath scorched the earth beneath her, but her shimmering hair formed a protective shield around her, repelling the flames. The dragon unleashed torrents of fire at her, but her hair flicked the fire away. These fierce exchanges lasted for more than an hour. Then, gathering her strength, Lulu began to emit fire from her own being, directing it towards the weakened dragon. Finally, with a mighty roar, the dragon fell and vanished into thin air. Exhausted from the ordeal, Lulu collapsed to the ground. Her mother Nana and Badu rushed to her side. Badu lifted her gently and carried her before the astonished elders and the villagers. To everyone's amazement, Lulu had lost her shimmering hair. What remained was just shoulder-length black hair, and her eyes, once a striking green, were now brown, ordinary, like those of any other villager. It then became clear to everyone that Lulu had been possessed by the gods to protect the village from the dragon. And now that the dragon was defeated, the gods had relinquished their hold on her. From that day forward, Lulu was no longer seen as an outcast, but celebrated as a hero of the village. Her hair, once a subject of whispers and wonders, was now ordinary like everyone else's. The villager understood that the mystery of Lulu's hair held not just the secrets of the earth and sky, but also the power to save Adu village from the fiery wrath of the dragon. And so, Lulu, once known as the girl with the mysterious long hair, lived on as a legend. She married Badu and raised a family of her own. Her story became a folktale that parents recounted to the children through generations, a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary magic resides in the courage to stand against the storm. If you like the story, please comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this. Until next time, remember that life is a journey of lessons, and sometimes the hardest choices lead to the most profound growth. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.